pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events. And as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are right, Robert. This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we got our guest on, and our guest is Mary. Let's just start right off here. We have Mary Faydash, and she is the Friends of the Black River Forest, and we're going to be talking about the Kohler-Andrae State Park and all the confusion and craziness with that. Mary, thank you so much for coming on again.
Thank you, Robert. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, we have an event coming up, and let's talk a little bit first about your organization and what's been going on the last few years or quite a few years with this pending golf course. And let's talk about your organization real quick.
Okay. Neighbors in the Black River Forest area of the town of Wilson, which is in Sheboygan County, got together over 10 years ago to talk about the news of an impending proposed Kohler Championship golf course, which would be to the south of us and adjacent to the Kohler-Andrae State Park. And we all love this area so much. To tell you the truth, we were just flabbergasted that this area, which is pristine, it is the last untouched piece of landscape with so many unique characteristics along the Wisconsin Lake Michigan shore. We were so surprised, but we decided that we would follow the process with our town board and make sure that the proper environmental studies were done of the impacts of the course, which we then took to the courts and challenged the wetland fill permit that the Kohler Company was awarded by the DNR. And that permit was revoked in 2018 by an administrative law judge. And the Kohler Company then appealed that revocation to the circuit court, and that circuit court upheld the revocation of the wetland fill permit. So, as I said, we've been doing this for over 10 years. Our first litigation, I believe, our first suit was around 2014. It was, as I said, it was heard in a contested case hearing in 2018. So we've continued to work on this. The wetland fill permit doesn't exist, and the Kohler Company has appealed to the appellate court for a review of the circuit court's revocation. And that has been pending in the appellate court for about 2 years. So that part of our challenge is currently in the appellate court. The second part of our challenge is that the Department of Natural Resources asked the Natural Resource Board, which oversees the DNR, to take 6 acres of parkland out of state conservation inventory and give it to the Kohler Company. And we refer to that as the land swap. Out of the land swap decision by the DNR to allow the land to be taken out of inventory and then traded with the Kohler Company, out of that came a land exchange agreement signed by Scott Walker, the DNR, and the Kohler Company. And this is what our event relates to. It relates to us going to the governor's office with our petition to send this land exchange agreement back to the Natural Resources Board for review and nullification. And so that's what we've been doing. And it's incredible that it really has been over 10 years that we have been working on this.
Wow. Well, that's awesome that you're still working on this, and but it's crazy that it's been 10 years. So let's talk a little bit quickly, and we'll bring this up again. You got a rally coming up here on November 16th. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, out of this land swap that we contend, uh, parts of were illegal and ignored the DNR's own rules. Out of
Mm.
that came this land exchange agreement, and this land that was given to the Kohler Company to build a maintenance complex, 22,000 square foot maintenance complex, and to cut a road through parkland to get to the Kohler proposed golf course. Those acres that the DNR gave to Kohler is actually land that was taken from landowners in the middle 1960s for the purpose of adding it to the park. And it was paid for in
Mhm.
part by Land and Water Conservation Act funds. So the purpose of this meetup at the Capitol is not only to present our petition to Governor Evers to have this exchange reviewed, but it is to bring to the attention of the state of Wisconsin that if Governor Evers does not take action on this, or the NRB doesn't take action, this opens the door for future administrations to sell off our state park lands or to trade them illegally and for any reason. So this is why it's so important.
petition out there. Allowing a land exchange agreement to stand can set a precedent for our state parks and can be used as a bargaining chips by any administration. And then they want you to sign this petition, and we can get that out there too. Kohler-Andrae State Park, which has been doing great things as a state park for many years, and yeah, it's a golf course, and then the land exchange is ridiculous. You know, if you know anything about the land exchange that Kohler wants to exchange for the state park, it's like an old abandoned looks like a a big pig farm or something, and
Yeah.
that's not.
There's a bunch of like old buildings that they gave them in this exchange. I mean, hikers, campers. I mean, this is not land that they can benefit from or use at all. So
Yeah, exactly. I think we got Mary back on. Mary,
Mhm.
we've been reading your press release while we were off Facebook and YouTube, but thanks for coming back on. And this is just ridiculous. You know, a golf course is probably one of the worst things to do for Mother Earth and Father Sky, and we're just behind you 100%.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk about the event again. Let our people know a little bit about the event because we got about 5 minutes left in this segment with you, Mary.
Okay. Sure. Well, we are meeting supporters at the Capitol at 1 o'clock this coming Thursday, November 16th. The Sierra Club supporters will be there helping out with a short rally at the State Street entrance. And then after that, we may have a couple of speakers at the rally. The people will walk up to the hallway outside the governor's office, and we'll have some people speak there. And we'll be doing a press release. We expect, a pretty good crowd. We're a very small grassroots organization, but as I said earlier, the word is starting to get out that when Governor Evers leaves office, the issue is, as you just read, Robert, that any state park is open to be traded or sold, depending on whoever decides to become involved in it. In this case, it was Governor Walker's administration. We certainly don't have evidence of communication that Governor Walker was in any way attempting to impact this. We do know that the Kohler representative did write Governor Walker asking him to, what's the word? I would say smooth over the regulatory process.
Yeah.
And it has come up. Some DNR staff have spoken publicly since the time that we were, trying to get the word out, that they did feel pressure within the DNR to approve this wetland process or the wetland permit. So there have been a lot of things that we have come up against, not only our local government, but the city government of the city of Sheboygan, the state, and also the federal government. But anyway, I digress. After our press conference, as I said, we may have a couple of speakers there. Senator Larson will be speaking, I believe, at the rally outside on the Capitol steps. And then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a party and a rally at the Lazy Oaf Lounge in Madison. And we're going to have live music and complimentary food and beverages. and we've got a lot of young people that would like to speak. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And because people are starting to write and ask about the event. And, this isn't the easiest thing to get out when you're a small group and you are challenging a very large private company
Yeah.
with a lot of money. So, having said that, I am looking forward to seeing quite a few supporters because we just need to get this out there. Governor Evers, my opinion is that he has done wonderful things for our land, air, and water in our state. And he has requested a good deal of money for our state parks. However, when he goes out of office and these parks can be sold or traded by another person in the administration or a legislator or anybody who has influence, all of that good work is undone.
Well,
So,
that's Mary, that's a really good point because I don't think he's running again. He's going to be what, 74 in the next election, something like that. I don't believe he's running again.
I don't know either. I know he has a campaign manager, but yeah, I think that we have to think about that. He may be reticent to take action, but all he has to do is send it to the Natural Resources Board to look at it and correct the illegalities.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on and being patient with us. Technology is a tricky thing. So again, November 16th, quickly, Facebook, email, website. Can you give that out real quick?
FriendsBlackRiverForest.org is our website, and that has the event information on it. FriendsBlackRiverForest.org.
Peony Gigi for all you do for Mother Earth and Father Sky. We really appreciate you coming in. Have a good day and a good time. We'll be right back after the short
you.
break with former state representative Ruth Buffalo.
Stay with us.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Are you ready to make a difference? Better Futures Minnesota is calling on you to join their Breaking Barriers to Employment fundraising campaign during Give to the Max, now through November 16th. Better Futures Minnesota provides job training and essential support to a population of men who have been locked out of society, living in chronic poverty with histories of incarceration, persistent unemployment, untreated mental illness, addiction, and homelessness. Your tax-deductible donation, no matter the size, can help break down the barriers to employment and pave the way for brighter futures. Let's stand together as a community and show our support. Visit betterfuturesminnesota.com and click the Give to the Max button at the top of the page to contribute to this vital cause. Your dollars will directly impact someone's journey to employment. Your support can change lives. Please act today. Visit betterfuturesminnesota.com and make your tax-deductible contribution before or on November 16th. Thank you, Minnesota, for your generosity.
Hi, this is Gina. Matthew, I will not read this next line.
I'll be your snookum-wookums.
Fine. My husband is the sexiest radio host in Minnesota, Matt McNeil.
Dang straight.
When it came time to replace my vehicle, I wanted an option that was safe in the environment. I wanted a hybrid. My RAV4 hybrid is a greener vehicle without sacrificing style and comfort. I love my Toyota hybrid.
Toyota hybrids are incredibly fuel efficient. Test drive one today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clearing skies tonight with a low of 37, then sunshine Wednesday with a high of 58. Vinaigrette can add the perfect complement to your next home-cooked meal. Taste test their wide selection of oils and vinegars, and they'll bottle it for you right on the spot. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Check them out at vinaigrettemn.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Support honest Native news from natives themselves. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Right on. Hey, we're here with former State Representative, North Dakota State Representative Ruth Buffalo. And Ruth, you seem busier than ever, and we really appreciate you being able to stop with us and check in. It's been a while since we talked to you, and we always appreciate your what you bring to the table and your updates of what you're doing. You're a doer, Ruth, and Peenigigi, thanks a lot for being on.
Lots of good odds. Thank you for having me.
Well, maybe we can talk about a little bit what you're doing today and what you're down in New Orleans, and talk a little bit about that and the other things that you got going on.
Sure. Yeah, I'm here in New Orleans for NCA. I was invited to come down to attend the Violence Against Women Task Force, or VAWA Task Force, and to hear updates, and then also an update on the Not Invisible Act Commission was given today, and then also tomorrow during the General Assembly, there will be a shawl ceremony honoring the missing children from boarding schools and survivors, and then also MMIP survivors and families as well.
Wow, and that's important. Did the Invisible Act Commission, which you're a part of, can you tell our audience a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yes, the Not Invisible Act Commission is a legally mandated body that was put into motion, so to speak, by now Secretary Deb Haaland. It was a federal piece of legislation that was led and shepherded by then Congresswoman Deb Haaland. At the time, there were 4 Native Congress members who got behind the bill, Sharice Davids being one, or U.S. Representative Sharice Davids of Kansas being one, and then 4 total bipartisan support. So the Not Invisible Act Commission is tasked with addressing the missing and murdered Indigenous persons, or MMIP, missing and murdered Indigenous peoples, and human trafficking crisis.
Yeah. Wow. And again, I really appreciate you coming in and giving us an update. This is so important, and your work has been so important, and it's really, like I said earlier, you're a doer, and I really appreciate you coming on and telling us all about the good work you're involved with and support. So this is so important, and there's so many reasons why. Also, you were on a PBS segment too. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know it's funny, Ruth, I got to just say this real quick. It was the 5th anniversary of Women of Nations wrestling match. And I think that was the first time I ever met you in person. And it's grown so much. They had like 3,000 people there for this one and made over $60,000 for that women's shelter. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that that was a pretty cool event to attend. It was my first time attending an event like that, and pretty amazing to see the amount of money that was raised for our shelter, our relatives that do need shelter and safety and protections. I think of the creativity that goes into those types of fundraising efforts, and the good-hearted people behind those efforts, and the cause, to really support those causes. And I was thinking of even the medicine wheel riders, the women who ride motorcycles through the Black Hills to raise awareness for MMIW, MMIP. And they also have a documentary coming out there soon as well. But yeah, pretty good to see the creativity of being in spaces that kind of like unlikely spaces that we're not really that are just a little bit different to be in, I guess, like the event you mentioned. And then also, people who are doing, I just want to lift up those types of efforts because it's creative and it's kind of thinking outside of the box. So love it.
Yeah, that was fun, and that was the first time I met you, and I remember I was nervous, and I had, at the time, State Representative Mary Kunish, interview you for the show, and, I just held the phone, and that was really fun, and that was, awesome to meet you at that event, and, yeah, creativity, that's where it's at, and, people enjoy things, but also in supporting, things that matter to us, that's really huge, and, good luck to them, and, they were on the show this last week, but it was kinda fun. I was in New York, so I couldn't make the event, but wow, they keep
I
on
was
going every year.
Yeah, before I forget too, I was going to mention a quick plug for Mary Catherine Nagel. She was able to zoom in via Zoom to the VAWA task force meeting today. And she also gave really good update on different cases that we should be paying attention at the federal level that will be directly impacting all of us. Within our respective communities and regions and across the country. But she also mentioned that she has a new play coming out as well. So I'm trying to kind of get those details down. But it's amazing to see her. And I think of her with creativity. We both were sat on the very first, or participated in the very first MMIW congressional hearing. And one of the Congress members shared, he said, yeah, I watched this playwright or this play about women and this crisis that you're facing. And we all looked at her like, that's her play that you're talking about. So it was like the Congress member was like really struck and surprised that she was actually the mastermind behind that play, and she's a lawyer. So it's cool to see that creativity and reaching the masses in different creative ways to get our message across that our people need protections and deserve to live in safe and healthy communities just like the next person.
Absolutely, and, one of the things that I remember interviewing a lawyer that worked for Robbins Kaplan, and he mentioned, being a white person, somebody told him at a powwow that, "Look at the dancers, they're all beautiful," he was saying, and that 1 out of 3 of these young women will be, abused one way or another, and those statistics need to be, brought up and put up and talked about because that's our relatives, and I think that's a lot of the work that you've been doing most recently, but forever, really.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just trying to be a good relative and carry forward the work that a lot of people cleared the path for us, to try to continue, as they say, moving the needle forward, for justice. But it's, yeah, definitely a long haul. And I mean, it would be nice for us to, be able to relax, or, I always joke and say, yeah, it would be cool just to like chill and drink lemonade by my mom, next to my mom's garden in Mandaree, with clean soil, clean air, clean water, and all the things, that the next person has. But yeah, definitely, just want to make sure that we commend and lift up the people who have gone before us, who are no longer here, who literally died, fighting for the
Yeah.
protections that we could have to be here, to be thriving. And as they say, better days ahead. So.
Well, I also want to mention this too, and I probably did, but I masked it with a whole bunch of other questions to you. So sorry about that. But there's a PBS segment, Women Rule, that came out November 7th, and I do believe people can jump on to their PBS sites and look at older documentaries. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, the Native America series, they are being broadcasted and live streamed now via PBS.
Mhm.
And our segment, I believe it was the last in this series, and it was called Women Rule, and it was led by a young Native woman producer. It was her very first production. So we're pretty excited to, get behind her and support her. And so throughout the process, I believe all of us women, I believe we're all older than her. We were, without really having that conversation of, how old are you? But it just felt it felt like a strong organic, no, just kidding. Like res dogs, but it just felt like a really natural sisterhood, with, just really clicked with everyone, especially Paige, the producer, and I was really honored to be included. My family, my community, we're very honored to be included in her project called Women Rule. It features 4 women, 4 Native women, 4 Indigenous women, a Native fashion designer, an environmentalist, activist from Florida, the Native fashion designer from California, and then a Native artist and musician from Oklahoma. And so it's pretty cool, pretty amazing, and really love the animation too within the series. And so if you're able to watch it, they are hosting 2 community screenings this week, Thursday in Bismarck, at the Thursday Bismarck Public Library at 6 p.m. The North Dakota Human Rights Art and Film Festival is hosting that screening, and then the following night, Friday at 6:30 at the Sacred Pike Resource Center, they're hosting another community screening of the segment.
Wow, that's exciting. Hey, have you been up in Minnesota lately?
Gosh, yes. I mean, we're so busy. I mean, we travel a lot, but been meaning to try to get over to at least the Mississippi headwaters. It's such a beautiful area, and we wanted to try to make it back there during the fall to see the beautiful change in the leaves and things, but haven't gotten out over there recently. I know we were in Minneapolis or surrounding areas early fall for my son. He's eats, sleeps, and dreams basketball. So yeah, we're pretty excited for his upcoming season. But yeah, we'll definitely be throughout Minnesota when basketball season starts.
Well, and you being a former basketball great too, I always want to mention that. I got to meet over the years people you played with that are something about playing basketball and being a leader. They go hand in hand, don't they, Ruth?
I guess, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't want to say I guess so, but yeah, that sounds about right.
Right on. Hey, I want to say thank you so much for spending time with us. It's really great to see you and hear from you. Keep up the great work, and let's check in sooner. We've missed you.
Thank you, Mazagadads. Appreciate it, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Former State Representative of North Dakota, Ruth Buffalo. Thank you so much for coming on. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
Be a vaccinative. As the fall season continues, new COVID-19 variants threaten the health of not just you, but our elders as well. These new variants might even evade previous vaccines. That's why it's important to stay up to date. The newly authorized vaccines target current variants effectively and are FDA approved for ages 6 months and older. But there is an important note. These are the first COVID vaccines to be commercialized, which means there may be costs associated with them. Speak with your health insurer about your coverage before scheduling an appointment to avoid a surprise bill. For those without health insurance, help is available. Ask your health clinic about options or visit vaccines.gov for free locations. Getting vaccinated protects you from severe disease. Don't put yourself or elders at risk. So be a vaccinative and protect our community. You can visit vaccines.gov for free vaccine locations.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future
Would you let
generations.
animals pick your insurance? Do you
How?
Oh.
Oh, anyways.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and sometimes technology is a funny thing, Haley, and it's always interesting. I used to teach film and video, and we did a lot of course, nonlinear editing. And if the student had like a bad attitude or something, a lot of times when you're in a hurry or you're stressed out, it's weird, like because we're made out of electric too, that it messes with the computers and other things I've found over time. So
That's true.
it's always different. It's always hard to you get stressed when it's like a cycle. It's piles on when you get stressed about something that's going on, and then you get stressed more, and then the computers and the airwaves feel that. So let's put
Right.
some tobacco out after this show, and everyone will be feeling better and doing things. Hey, I just got to say this about former Representative Ruth Buffalo. She texted me and wanted to know if she was supposed to stay on or whatever. But I just have to say this is that you know our schedule is always fluid with guests, and it seems like whenever we need a guest on, and I can text her whether it's a minute before or 10 minutes before or hours before, Ruth is always comes on the show.
Right. Yeah, Ruth is great. She's a great one. Anyways, there is something that I saw, Robert, in the news today And this is coming from the Native Organizers Alliance, actually. So this was posted 5 hours ago. The Biden-Harris administration and the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, as well as public and private sector partners, announced today that $141.3 million in grants through the America the Beautiful Challenge, also ATBC, will create 74 new grants that will support landscape scale conservation projects across 46 states, 3 U.S. territories, and 21 tribal nations. According to the DOI's website, America the Beautiful is spotlighting the work to restore, connect, and conserve 30% of lands and waters by 2023.
Wow, that's let's see if I got the right button here, There's some cheering going on here.
I like that. That's a good one.
Right
But
on.
yeah, I mean, that just goes hand in hand, talking about saving our natural resources, saving our land, protecting Mother Earth and Father Sky. Yeah, it's a hard race and it's a tough battle, but there are things that are being done and there are wins. It's not all losses. And it's
Right.
good to focus on the good things and the wins that we do have, such as this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think about that too because Governor Evers really needs to do something about this, but also he's done so much too. So there is that balancing, and in my younger years, I should say, prior, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, Wendy was always good at this because she can keep a level head, and it's taken me a lot of years too because you never know uh, when you need the politician for something else that you're working on. So you can't burn bridges, I guess is my point. And
Mhm.
I used to burn bridges with a flamethrower. So I've learned over the years to be chill and not to react like I'm a maniac. So
Well, yeah, and I
well,
think a lot of other people could learn from that example as well. Another really cool story that came out yesterday. This is actually from Leonardo DiCaprio, which we know has done a lot of climate justice work. But Papua New Guinea triples marine protected areas. Over 9,000 people from more than 100 indigenous communities helped design the new ocean protections. These efforts resulted in the declaration of over 6,000 square miles of new marine protected areas in New Ireland province. This work demonstrates the impact of community and government partnerships in achieving the global 30 by 30 target. So yes, this is protecting waters of Papua New Guinea, spanning over 6,000 square miles. So do you see what can happen when we listen to our indigenous communities?
yeah, and that made me really think, Haley. You weren't able to see this because when I was in New York on in Long Beach, but there were whales out there, and I've never seen whales before.
Oh.
Um, I saw all these boats out there, which I never do, and they were out fishing, but also so were the whales. And the only way I could see them, and then I saw a photographer take some pictures of them. You could see the fin, but only reason why I knew they were whales is because there was, they were breathing, and so the water was shooting up, and it was really cool. And you could tell people were watching the whales. There was a big boat out there that wasn't fishing, and people were just watching. So there's a balance that you're talking about, and I know they're talking about putting um, they're not wind turbines, but some kind of water turbines out there in the ocean for energy,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
wonder how that's going to affect the whales that are going to be around there. So there's big
Yeah.
balance that people have to be consider too.
That's a great point, and we have Bob Lake on usually every Wednesday with us, and Bob's really great. We talk a lot of renewable energy, and I always think about, the waves of, I don't know exactly what they call that, but generating the power
Mhm.
through electricity from the ocean waves coming onto the shore and whatnot. But yeah, you have to realize, how is that going to impact the sea life and our marine, animals in
Exactly.
that area. But hey, this is something also I saw. So the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift are all over the news. I
Right on.
think we all know that. But
I'm a Swiftie. I'm cool with it. No.
are you? Okay. I don't know if I am. So Kansas City. Okay, so this is the Kansas City Indian Center, Heart of American Indian Center. They will be doing a protest November 20th down there in Kansas City at 4 p.m. at Gate 1 at Arrowhead Stadium at the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium. And there will be a bus stop at Gate 1, 4 p.m. November 20th. And they're going to, they're calling for the Kansas City Chiefs to finally do what they painted in their end zone. And that's end racism. So hopefully they change that name.
Well, exactly. And I think I've said this story before, but when the Vikings were playing at US Bank Stadium, Huffington Field now, that is a place, it's a public stadium. It isn't like, the others, the Viking Stadium now, it's a private stadium. And so there was a big protest when the Kansas City team was playing the Vikings, and about the name. And it was very interesting. There was two things I take note on that, Haley. One is there was a lot of Kansas City Chiefs or dressed up like Chiefs going in there, but the big people that were giving our young warriors and spitting on our young warriors were Vikings fans. So let's get over it and all those things, but we're not getting over it. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
And free Leonard Peltier.
See you tomorrow. This has been Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.